in my phone.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
It is now time for the Royal Rumble!
Thank you so much for choosing to wrap up your week right here on If You Don't Like That. The King's Court is in session. Thinking that it was going to be a slow Friday, you know, a day off before the Kings hit the court again on the East Coast in the land of Disney. And what do you know? A lot of news on this Friday that we will get to. Settle down, Kings fans. I can already see it in the chat. I understand why you might be a little bit excited, but we're going to talk about a lot of things, man. We'll talk about last night. How about Jake LaRavia? He's going to be out 7 to 10 days. I guess I should just anoint Dennis as like our Woj. It's like, dude has access to my system before I even get into the system and the show's set up. Because, like, I'm pretty sure with his chats, he hit with like 3 or 4 of my top stories, like right off the bat. So we'll see how they line up. But why I say it's a Royal Rumble Friday is you can call anytime. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about within reason, to be responsible here. That's why I put PK in parentheses. And we'll hit it. King's victory last night. Interesting comments from Doug Christie with Malik Monk being a late scratch from the starting lineup. Made sense because of his illness, but did Doug Christie leave the door open to maybe giving Keon another look as the starting point guard? We'll hit that and more. Maybe the game of the year in the NBA, hands down. A college football extension for a well-known coach. A controversial coach, a guy that gets a lot of run around here in the Kings offseason. And our WWE segment, it is WrestleMania season. So, you know, Adam will be here. And by the way, Alex, I don't know what your connection looks like today, but Adam Oos is requesting your presence during the WWE segment. So if you can negotiate that, if you're out there, you can hear my voice, and your connection doesn't sound like Jim Rome's, then get up in here when we do our WWE segment. It'll be a lot of fun. Let's get into it on the other side. It's Friday. You made it. King's Court. Time to go.
Lights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings it all.
Yes, indeed, we do. Light the beam. I have a question, though. Is it appropriate to have your beam lit on an off day after the Kings win? I never know. So give me your feedback in the chat, because sometimes I want to light the beam behind me, but, you know, am I being a homer? Am I giving them bad karma? I don't know how that really works. So help your guy out here. Thank you for letting me into your homes, letting me into your offices, your cars. If you're listening in the car, drive safe. Do not call from the car, please. Your ears, your gym, wherever you're at. Thank you for having me in. Ryan in Sacktown with you, bringing you the King's Court on a Friday. It will be our only broadcast on the channel today. So if you want to get in now. We'll be with you for about 2 hours. Love to hear from you. Kings win last night, 128 to 107. A lot of motion in that victory. Loved it. The one thing that does stick out to me, though, Keon Ellis, 10 points, but he was a plus 20 in the plus minus category. It just tells you how much more he does in the invisible statistical categories. He's just the glue that ties pieces together. That's kind of what he is. He's like if you get a cut on your finger and you're like me and you don't want to go to the doctor, you don't want to, deal with it. You get some of that new skin and you just put it over. He just seals things up for the Kings, and it actually leads to some better floor spacing. And credit to Coach Christie, who, when we ended the broadcast yesterday, left me extremely confused with this line.
Times when you need an offensive team and you need a defensive team, and then you need a combination of both. And I think, to your point, when you have two guys on the perimeter that can really guard and try to take.
You need an offensive team, a defensive team, and a combination of both. Yeah, you kind of need a combination of both pretty much all the time. But anyways, we'll talk about it more. I will say this. The floor was spaced more. One clear adjustment that Coach Christie made last night was he gave DeMar and Levine less minutes together. And he had certain players on the court when they were on the floor together that helped the floor spacing to be a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit more beneficial for the Kings than we've seen in the past. And again, it's a Portland team that's not very good, but watch out. They are not going to be very far from being good. Keep them in your rearview mirror because their rebuild is ahead of schedule. There's no doubt about that. A few of those threes fall last night. We're talking about a different basketball game. So we'll go over that. We'll get you ready for the Kings and the Magic as well. Early tip for that one tomorrow. It's 2:00 here on the West Coast. So hopefully you will be tuning in. We'll have pregame beginning at 1:15, halftime with Jerry, and it might just be me taking you home tomorrow. It might just me being on the postgame show. Maybe no Napes. If you didn't get a chance to check out the postgame show last night, go check it out. It was a really good show. We got into detail about the dynamics with Vlade Divac. Grant is incredibly close with Vlade. And if you want to hear Grant's take on the news that's been going around about Vlade being with Vivek and so on and so forth, could Vlade be the next GM of this team? Grant did a great job of, I think, kind of addressing it last night. So go hit that if you are still curious. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like. We would appreciate that. That helps grow the channel as well. We talked a little bit about this one. We'll talk about it more. Jake LaRavia, we hit that at the top. He is out 7 to 10 days with a thumb injury. All right, let's see how Dennis lines up here. So that was my first story. Dennis puts it at his third comment. Here we go. Jake LaRavia suffered a bone contusion in his left thumb and will be reevaluated in 7 to 10 days. Remember, he was out from being sick, and then he had the thumb issue. So looks like you'll be getting a bigger dose of Trey Lyles, maybe a little bit of IJ if the Kings need to on the road trip. All right, let's see if Dennis gets my second story right. Judges, second story, Domantas Sabonis will not be playing any Euro basketball this summer. That has come out. Also, the same reports that have been rumbling over the last 3-4 weeks since the Sam Amick article about Domantas possibly wanting some direction about where this team is headed in the offseason. No surprise there. I don't know why anybody would be getting caught off guard by that. NBA Central put out today that the Kings could be sellers in the offseason. Again, nothing groundbreaking, nothing that is new to any of us. If you've been watching this channel or paying attention to any other Kings content here in the area. All right, Dennis. Let's see. Do you think Dennis got the next story right? Let's see. Dennis, did you get the next story right? Here we go. He did. Actually, it was his first comment. I'll just let my dude from Chicago do the talking.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not Doug
Taylor Jenkins. Are you kidding me? The Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins per Shams, in part because they felt that he had lost the locker room. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, Taylor Jenkins was one of the best young coaches in the NBA. Are we going to dismiss the amount of injuries, suspensions, and drama this guy has had to deal with? Are we going to dismiss how he has developed young talent in Memphis? Like, I'm sorry, Grizzlies. You are not winning the championship this year, with or without Taylor Jenkins. Whatever made you think that now was the time to get rid of Taylor Jenkins, I do not know. Now, as it comes to Dennis's next comments, Kings can't be mad about Mike Brown because this is worse. Well, they're different. They're different. Mike Brown's firing was more about the way it was handled and the drama, the circus that is this Kings organization that begins with the ringleader, Vivek Ranadive, at the top and goes all the way down to the clowns and the tigers and the lions and the dudes in the domes and the motorcycles, right? You fire a coach on the way to the airport who coached practice, who spoke to the media. You don't do that. So anyways, according to ESPN.com, sources tell ESPN's Shams Charania that Jenkins was called into the Grizzlies office Friday morning and he was being fired. The team believed that Jenkins had lost the locker room over the course of the season. That making a change right now might mitigate how the Grizzlies finish this season. Also, some speculation that it was around some disappointment that the Grizzlies might fall out of hosting a home playoff series. Home playoff series or not, the Grizzlies just aren't there yet. But I can tell you, I firmly believe Taylor Jenkins was taking them closer to the road that gets you there rather than the road that takes you the long way that the Kings are looking at. So now let's hit this really quick, Kings fans. Taylor Jenkins isn't coming to Sacramento. I would be shocked if Taylor Jenkins ended up in Sacramento. I think he is going to have many, many more better opportunities than coaching the Sacramento Kings. No offense. You know, I'm a lifelong Kings fan. You know, I love this team as much as anybody, but he's going to have options, whether it's this coaching cycle or next coaching cycle. He will be sought after. Now, who knows? Maybe Vivek makes a run for this guy. I don't know, but he will be available. And I'll tell you what, he was on my short list when I've said bring in a young and up-and-coming coach, not a retread. Taylor Jenkins is on that short list. And I guess you could make the argument that he would be a retread because he's been an NBA coach. But the Grizzlies took a chance on this guy, right? And it has worked out. He made chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, in Memphis. So beyond me, what Memphis was thinking, but Memphis has fired Taylor Jenkins as their head coach. We'll let Dennis fill you in on the rest in the chat. Game of the night last year, maybe? What a wild ending. A reminder of why teams take those painful timeouts down the stretch when you think the game's out of hand. A reminder to never leave the arena early unless you're like on the top floor of the parking garage and it's just not worth it to sit in that garage for like 45 minutes. Unbelievable. We're going to revisit this one. The Bulls beat the Lakers. We've got audio from that. And Deion Sanders receives a huge extension at Colorado. Interesting? Not really. You know why? Deion Sanders has become Colorado. Colorado has sold their soul to Deion Sanders. This dude is blocking media members, outlets out. He's shaming reporters, basically running rogue. But Colorado doesn't care. You know why? Because he's bringing in a ton of money. And here's the thing, college extensions mean nothing. They mean nothing. You see college coaches get extended for 29 years for $79 million. Never pay attention to the extension. Pay attention to the buyout. That's what you look at with a college coach's contract. But nonetheless, Dion did have a better season this year. Does it put to rest some of the rumors, some of the talk about him coming to the NFL? Maybe for now. Do I care? Not really. So Dion gets a extension. What's Dion going to do now that he's got Travis Hunter and Shadir heading to the NFL? March Madness last night. How's everybody's brackets doing? Peter, if you're out there, help me out. Half of the Elite Eight is set. Florida moving on. I think I have Florida as my winner. No, I have Kentucky as my winner, but I wanted to do Florida. That was the one I thought about. So look, I'm being that guy. I'm being second chance guy. So Florida beats Maryland 87-81. Duke over Arizona 100-83. Alabama 113-88 over BYU. Texas Tech 85-83 over Arkansas. So John Calipari out of the NCAA tournament. You got basketball tonight starting here at about 4 o'clock, 4:09. Ole Miss, Michigan State, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Auburn, Purdue, and Houston. There you go. You'll know the other half of the Elite Eight by the end of tonight. By the end of the weekend, we will know the final four of the NBA. So, have I given you enough to talk about? Let's get into it. Time to call. Get in here if you want to talk about last night's game, if you want to talk about Taylor Jenkins, if you would like to talk about anything else. Remember, it is Royal Rumble Friday. You can get in at any time, talk about whatever you want to talk. I'm going to start from most recent to oldest and see what's going on. Excuse me, I'm going old man Napes here and putting the glasses on for this because I have been stumbling too much. Dennis is going Duke. Peter's got Tennessee. Let's see. Yeah, I picked. See, Peter's my man. He's all over it. He knows who I got. I had UK. I wanted Florida, though. I like Florida for whatever reason. Saw them play late in the season. We've got a dog in the house. We got to acknowledge when the dogs are in the house. What's up, Con Dog? I can't say the full thing. I'm willing to put it on screen, but what's up, dude? Mike had a good half of the season. Yes, he did. Maybe I'm not going to try these glasses anymore. Dennis, a lot of stuff here. You're talking about, I don't know. Are you talking about Taylor's? Yeah, Dennis, too much for me to look at right now. Adam, what's up, dude? Maybe the Kings can pick up Jenkins, give him a massive deal, and fire him after 120 games. Maybe. You know the question that I wanted to ask Napes last night that I didn't get in when he was talking about Vlade? Because he confirmed that Vlade is a employee of the Kings, but on the business side. I wanted to ask if he's getting double pay because he's still probably getting his GM pay. And if I'm Vlade, I'm not waiving that salary on the business side. Give me my money. Give me my money. Yeah, poor Jake. Unfortunate for the Kings, indeed. But look, the Kings have not had any more injuries than any other team. I can't sit here and tell you they've had a bad shake of it. If you look at every other team across the NBA this season, I think the Kings are right probably in the middle. They're right there. They're not even a standard deviation away from the middle. I think that they're right there. They've experienced what most teams, as much or as little, not as little, not as much, I should say. They're just smack in the middle. What is it? Goldilocks and the porridge is the one that's just right. So it looks like you guys are working out your ideas to come on. If Adam Uso asks, we have to deliver. Can't ever deny the special counsel of the King's Court. Yes, special counsel indeed. Career high 8 steals. No idea what you're talking about. Sean cannot be lit before a game up to 24 hours at. Oh, okay. Beam, excuse me. See, that's why I need the glasses. I'm telling you, man, I need to get my eyes checked. Beam cannot be lit before a game. Up to 24 hours after a win is acceptable. Okay. All right. Good enough. Yeah, PK confirmed that he doubled down. Can you believe that? He doubled down. But here's my beef, PK. PK. This whole thing started with a $500 gift card that was supposed to go to Wolfie, right? And you work out some backdoor shady deal with Wolfie where he doesn't get his $500 gift card, and then you gamble the money and you win, and then you gamble it again and you win, and now you've got $1,000 in your pocket. You should be out 500, my man. You're basically up 1,500. What are you doing for Wolfie? Let me know. Bring back Howard Finkel? I don't think we can, man. Adam, you should know. I think the Fink has passed away. A legendary ring announcer. The best ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Stop the pain!
introducing!
That's what I should do for you when you come on, Adam.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Stop the pain!
introducing!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble. Yes, indeed. That's what it is. Royal Rumble Friday. So, which way do you want to go first? Well done. So well done. That's so good. I don't know if anybody's beating that today. I don't know.
Alrighty then.
DSC, you might have the comment of the day. Wow. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Let's see. All right. Getting a text message from the key. Well, no, excuse me. Getting a text message. All right. Good enough. Nothing that we need to address here. All right. Rhino, when we going to hit a game together? I'll buy the beers. No beer for me, but we can hit a game for sure. I'm going to be down in Stockton for the playoffs. So they're supposed to be hosting a game. Or I talked to somebody with the team and they thought early April is when they thought they were going to be hosting a game. Forgive me, I have not dug into the details of the G League playoffs, so been a little bit busy with Kings stuff. Peter, I fault Keegan. He's a 4 pick. Needs to be more selfish and get his points. Stop being this whole young man. Where is the mean streak? Dude, have you not seen it the second half of this season, Peter? I know that compared to what a mean streak and aggressive usually looks like, it's fairly benign. But if you line it up with Keegan Murray's norm, that's his aggressive. I like it. He had 9 of the first 11 for the Kings last night. Did you see him rip it in Klingen's face? Right in his face. I'm with you, Peter. That's why I say if the Kings do go the rebuild route, you got to make him a focal point. I want to see what he can do. At the very least, has Keegan Murray given you enough? Like if you're at Costco, right? You're walking around, and shout out to Costco, who bought me so many lunches in college where you just do the samples for lunch. And then if you're still hungry, you get the $1.55 Polish dog, which they have now ripped and it's only an all-American beef hot dog, but you used to get the Polish dog. But back to my example. If you're at Costco and you walk up to the sample cart and you get a sample of it and you're like, you know what? That's good enough. I like that. That is worth trying. Not only is it worth trying, it's worth buying enough of it that, I'm going to have to eat it for a couple of weeks. It's not like I'm going to be done with it in one day. Keegan Murray, to me, the sample has been good enough. I want more. I want to buy in more. I want a couple more years that are centered around Keegan Murray and possibly Keon Ellis to a degree, but within what Keon does. We're talking about two completely separate situations with those two players. But give me more. That's where I am. I mean, he's staring down benches now. He wants the ball. He spoke up against the coaching staff. If you read between the lines, come on. I get it, Peter. I get it, man. But I'm kind of, I want more. I'm buying that. Let's see. Cristobal, Sam's Club Polish dog was goated. You're going to have to fill me in. What's goated mean? I'm too old. Does that mean like it was retired? It's the goat?
Hello?
What does that mean? Help me out there. You know Costco's other big mistake? Ripping the combination pizza. Ripping the combo pizza, man. That was the best deal in pizza. You couldn't get a better pizza than that for $10. You just couldn't. You really couldn't. It was the greatest of all time. Okay. Okay, so it's literally goated. Okay, I gotcha. All right. All right. I never had. See, okay. Do you, let's ask the question. Do you have to be a Costco person or a Sam's Club person? Or are some of you Costco and Sam's Club? Because it feels like it's one or the other. There's not much sense of having both. Dennis says the combo pizza was trash? What? Are you kidding me? You think the combo pizza was trash, Dennis?
That's terrible.
I thought the combo was awesome. Dennis was cashing out, and we're cash out. Costco pizza is great. Floppy mess. That's a review. Look, you got to put the Costco pizza in the air fryer for like 2 minutes. Put it on bake for 2 minutes, and it gets to the right, kind of crunchiness. You get a little bit more that New York style. It thins the crust out to a degree. But I'm Costco guy. Haunted Horse doesn't do. I thought you were getting into Costco, Haunted Horse. I'll tell you this. With retail being the way it is, I think Costco is one place that will never go away. It just won't. Round Table's expensive, man. It's expensive. I think Sam's has better hot dogs, but the pizza is about the same. Didn't know that they had pizzas. I'm not a fan. Not a fan there. My parents get down with Mountain Mike's. Actually, it's with my dad earlier, and he's like, "You want some chicken strips?" I'm like, "All right, I'm game. Guess I'll try a chicken strip or two." He's like, "I'm gonna go to Cane's." And I'm like, "What's Cane's? Cane's?" And I realized it's this chicken place that literally, I guess, only has chicken strips. I'm like, can you get me some barbecue sauce? Nope, you only get cane sauce. Comes with French fries, chicken strips, and garlic toast. Garlic toast and chicken strips. Interesting. I haven't tried it yet. It's sitting there waiting for me. Weird combination. Anyways, throw down on some chicken strips? Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for being here, Flores. Appreciate it. One thing that we hit at the top of the show, let's get into it as we kind of move along on a, Costco has the oven, just cook it all the way. See, Costco doesn't really have the oven though, man. It's not really a pizza oven per se. It's like one of those pizza, like salamander racks where you just put the pizza on and it rides its way through. It's not old school traditional. Like, you guys remember, is Pizza Rock still open? Is Pizza Rock still open? I'm not sure if they are or not on K Street. But they used to have a pizza oven that was like I want to say 1600 or 1700 degrees, and it took 90 seconds to make the pizza. 90 seconds for the thin crust. That was crazy. That is a pizza oven. Anyways, you guys are still talking food. Don't hate on Cane's. I've never had it. DSC says Cane's is overrated. Only thing they have as good as Texas toast, which is only available in every freezer everywhere. Well played. So well played. Power Market has chicken? What? Oh my gosh, Pizza Rock closed. Okay, I don't feel bad talking about them. That was a good oven. You know what I'm talking about. All right, you know what else was good last night outside of the Kings? Maybe the best basketball game of the year. PK, he ain't coming here, bro. I know you're late to the party. He's going to have much better options. He's going to have much better options in front of him. And even if he doesn't have options in front of him this hiring cycle, I think he would wait a cycle because I think he's that valued in the NBA. I can't believe, and go back to the top, rewatch the Open. I can't believe the Grizzlies let him go. That's incredible to me. Blows my mind. Anyways, game of the year possibly last night in the NBA. A reason why you do not leave the game early, a reason why we sit through those painful timeouts sometimes during games when it seems like all hope is lost. Let me take you to last night in Chicago. Lakers and Bulls. Lakers are up 115 to 110 with 12.6 seconds left. Bulls inbounding. And by the way, I have a question before we even start this segment. Can somebody help me out and tell me who the heck Elizabeth is? You'll know what I'm talking about here in a second. Here was the call last night on Chicago Bulls television.
Get it into Vucevic, quick pass to Williams, big shot for three, good. 2-point game, 9.8 left. Oh, who's Diddy to steal, right for the lead! Yeah!
Big time players make big time plays. Kobe, White, Sub-Zero. Bang, bang, bang.
What a wild sequence! And the Cardiac Bulls have done it again!
Ow, Elizabeth!
It's the big one!
I'm coming, Elizabeth! Oh, Lord! I can't believe this! The Cardiac Bulls! Everybody thought it was over. It's never over.
Who's Elizabeth? Who's Elizabeth? So just so you know, they hit a three, steal the ball, and hit a three, and go up 116 to 115. What a call by Bulls television. So you thought that, okay, Tay, you're walking the line, son. Sir, you are walking the line. I would love to put that up. I cannot put that up. That is so fair, though. You are now tied with DSC for comment of the day here on the King's Court Royal Rumble Friday. You are now officially tied. Dude, you're not a wrestling person. How do you know that? How do you know Miss Elizabeth? That's incredible. Miss Elizabeth is Elizabeth? Have we lost her? I know Adam didn't realize we lost Fink. I don't know if Elizabeth's still alive. So back to last night. The Lakers take a timeout, looking with 6.1 seconds left to win this thing. Back to Bulls television.
Please. Spin out to the basket. Watch him.
Remember, LeBron got the tip in last night to beat the Pacers. Doncic took the final shot before that. Here's Reeves. Reeves straight to the cup. Lays it in to take the lead. Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Giddy for the win.
Oh my God! I cannot believe this. Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby. Oh, Lord.
Improbable.
Unbelievable.
Impossible.
Magic Giddy. Good day, mate. Somewhere in Australia, Sydney, or Melbourne, Paul Hogan and somewhere, Crocodile Dundee. Oh, Lord.
You may never see a wilder sequence than you just saw in the final 10 seconds. And Josh Giddey from down under beats the Lakers at the horn.
This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable call. Somebody do me a favor. I didn't do my homework. Can you Google who the analyst is for the Bulls? Because that is an all-time call. Like, that is one of the, like, in between hilarious and just scintillating calls that I've ever heard. And for those that didn't see it, Josh Giddey hit basically like a Tyreek Evans half-court shot. The difference between the two shots was Tyreek was closer to the scorer's table. Giddey was right at half-court, right at the circle. But yeah, right, Clay, the Australian. Yeah, Vegemite didn't want any of that. Listen to this call one more time. Incredible. Incredible stuff. Here we go.
2-point game, 9.8 left. Oh, who's for Giddey? The steal, right for the lead. Yeah!
Big time player.
Beats the Lakers at the plays it in to take the lead. Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Giddey for the win.
Oh my God! I cannot believe this. Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby. Oh, Lord.
Improbable.
Unbelievable.
Impossible.
Magic Giddy. Good day, mate. Somewhere in Australia, Sydney, or Melbourne, Paul Hogan and somewhere, Crocodile Dundee. Oh, Lord.
You may never see a wilder sequence than you just saw in the final 10 seconds. And Josh Giddey from down under.
Y'all are spot on, man. They went way too heavy. Way too heavy. You're spot on. Everybody that's saying it, way too heavy with the Australian stuff. Like, way too much. But a heck of an end. I don't think that I can remember a better end to a basketball game. I mean, maybe the Derek Fisher one comes to mind. The point, what was it? 0.3 seconds, 0.2 seconds, where they set the rule that that's the amount of time that you had to have to get the ball off against the Spurs. I don't know. That was incredible. Yeah, who is Elizabeth? Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby. You know what? I gotta point this out because I do remember, and I don't get a chance to listen to him much anymore. But my guy Romy, there was a play earlier this year. It was Kobe White dunking on, I think, Wemby. I think that's what it was. And Stacey King had a crazy call on that as well. I would think that Romy is probably talking about this right now. or has talked about it already today. But wow, unbelievable. It's for your backside, Crocodile Dundee. I don't know what that means. No, Al, the phone line. Well, hold on, Al. I might be able to get the phone line up for you. 1 second, Al. Let me see if I can get it up for you. I just can't remember a better ending to a basketball game, not least this year. Can anybody else? Anybody else remember a better ending this year? All right, Al, you can go ahead and try to give it a call. We'll see if it works. See if it comes through. Incredible stuff, though. Hopefully the Bulls and the Heat keep on winning so we can keep our pick. Good point by you. Yep, talked about it earlier. So did he say that the call was better, this one? Because I think this one was better than the last one. And I do want to know who Elizabeth is. Elizabeth, I'm coming. I'm coming, Elizabeth. Al, you should be able to try calling again, Al. You know what, Al? I'll call you. Let's call Al. Here we go. Al, I'm calling you.
Hello, you've reached Al Shigru, and I'm sorry I can't take.
Oh, there he is. Al, what's up?
Ryan, long time no talk. How you doing, pal?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. The chat's got it correct with the Elizabeth comment. Was there Sanford and Son? It was an old show that I love that show. It was back in the 70s. And Red Fox was a junk dealer, and Damon Wilson was his son, and they ran a junkyard business, and it was on Friday nights, and Fred constantly, it was so funny for me anyway. But the chat's got it right. He'd start having like a fake heart attack when he was shocked by something. He'd start staggering around, holding his heart, saying, "Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey."
Okay.
So
that
was it. Was not Miss Elizabeth. Other folks are thinking it's Miss Elizabeth. But we know if you're a wrestler, her death was just, it was tragic, and there's still some questionable things on what happened with that. But yeah, that was that reference. Hey, your Seahawks are going to be looking like a different team this year. If you don't mind talking a little NFL for a change of pace, what do you think of the changes? I mean, both your receivers are gone. You got a new quarterback. What do you think?
I'm not sure about what they're doing in Seattle. I think that they're trying to go a little bit more defensive. Sam Darnold, I'm not sold on it. I think Sam Darnold worked because he was with Kevin O'Connell, and Kevin O'Connell and him went way back. In fact, O'Connell used to coach the camps that Sam went to in high school, because O'Connell was quarterback at my alma mater, SDSU. In fact, he lived a couple doors down from me for a year or two. Good dude, but I don't know. Al.
I was talking to my brother, and he's a diehard Niner fan. I know I'm actually the strange one because we grew up in the Bay Area, but I started liking the Rams because I liked everything about them. And we were both talking, and we both think Darnold is an upgrade over Geno. Something about Geno. When you think to the Ram game, here's a microcosm of Geno. The Seahawks are getting ready to score. They're inside the Rams 10. Geno throws a terrible pass, and Kinson's intercepts, 102 yards the other way, 14-point swing. Then Geno takes you guys down and ties the game with a miraculous, last-second drive, and then the Rams end up pulling it out. But that's kind of to me, it's Geno in a microcosm. So I do agree with you. I think Darnold, he had a lot of, solid weapons and a solid coach who was familiar with them. But we both think that Darnold, I don't know. I think he's had an interesting career. I think he's going to be an upgrade over Geno. I like Coop with you guys.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
Coop's, you know what? You're right. Coop, I was not thinking about him. I'm thinking about everybody that we let go. We still got Smith and Jigba, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, I don't know, man. It feels like the Seahawks are going to be kind of in the middle. But what's that NFC West going to look like? What are your Rams going to look like, Al?
You know, I was very pleased with the moves. I heard Grant, and I was on the chat on Grant's telecast, and he made a comment. Yeah, if they can keep them happy, it should work. It's kind of sad for me that, let's hope that the multi-million-dollar diva wide receiver can stay happy, and get his 10 to 15 passes a game. But they signed both their tackles, especially the left tackle, Jackson. So they brought back a number of guys who are really both starting tackles. I'm big on, you got to have that chemistry and that the lines, both sides of the lines. But you got to have that chemistry. But I'm very pleased with overall with who they kept. They lost a few guys, but nothing big. The division is going to be really competitive, in my opinion. The
You
Niners
think so? The Niners are the wild card.
Well, I think it'll be competitive because I like your head coach, and some moves were made, but I like your head coach. Niners, Greenlaw, man, he went to Denver. I don't know about his knee. What do you think? I mean, the circumstances of him coming back with his knee and then going out again. I love him as a linebacker, but boy, every time I see this knee thing, I think Todd Gurley. They lost some key guys. I mean, Ward wanted out because of the tragedy, his personal tragedy with his family, and I understand that you can't. You're going to your work, so. And then they lost Hufanga, that he was all over the place. But I think the division is going to once again be. I think all the teams are right there. And what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, as we sit today, I think all the teams are kind of in the same general area. I give a little tip of the cap to the Rams because of Sean McVay. They just run a solid program. And think about this. They were a play or two away from beating the Eagles in Philadelphia in the weather, going through all the fire stuff nonetheless. But the draft changes everything, Al. That's what changes everything. So I think we're having a completely different conversation once that passes.
Yeah, but one last thing, and I'll let you go. Thanks for your patience. Can you explain to me this whole Kings situation with keeping the pick? Let me see if I got it. I've been Googling it, trying to figure it out. If the Kings is top 12 protected, so if the Kings end up 12th or higher in the conference, they lose the pick outright.
If the Kings are in the play-in, they lose the pick. So
the play-in though is the top 10. Now, I'm not deliberately trying to be stupid. So I'm missing. Isn't the play-in the top? It's just the top 10 team. So if they end up 11th, just out of the play-in, they'll still keep the pick?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go on an old guy rant, but this whole protected pick thing, why don't they just make the trade? Here's the pick, like the NFL. But I guess that's an NBA thing. Anyway, thanks for what's your opinion on that? Now you're not into the tanking thing, and it's been discussed a lot.
Well,
how do you feel?
Well, Al, I don't think the King. Number one, I don't think the Kings would tank on purpose. That's just not who they are. They don't do rest management. It's not something they've ever done. But the way their schedule is coming home, Al, and the way that they've been so inconsistent, it could indirectly happen that they are still trying to win, but they just don't. I mean, Grant's not sure they're going to get to 40 wins. And I'm kind of with them as well. So it's really going to see if they can handle the teams that they're supposed to beat on this road trip, then they're probably going to be in the play-in, and it's looking more and more like Dallas will be the team that they play. But I would rather at this point, and I kind of am leaning with the sentiment and the fans that want the pick. I think if we're trying to look forward, what's this team really going to do? In fact, it kind of scares me a little bit more. Let's say this team does get through the play-in, they get to Oklahoma City, first round of the playoffs, and they lose, they get swept. Okay. Is there going to be like this false belief within the organization that there's actually good things about this team? They've got right the pieces. They don't need to make major changes. Like, those are the things that kind of scare me, because they ran it back after they lost in the first round when they made the playoffs for the first time in 16 years.
Yeah. They did come back, and I agree with you. I just think, Kings fans, anything. I'm not a big playing guy, but anyway, thanks for taking my call.
You the man.
And have a good night, buddy.
All right,
take care.
Well, thanks, Al. Good stuff from Al. We leave the phone line open for Al once in a while. Sometimes TC will drop in on us. Tay asked for this one.
Kawhi up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win. Got it! Kawhi Leonard with the game winner, hanging in the air.
So that shot was way bigger than what happens. It sends you to the NBA Finals, but the call wasn't close to last night. Elizabeth, I'm coming. Some gold, man. But everybody is right here. Way too much Australian stuff there. Way too much Australian stuff. No, I don't think. Well, you know what? That's not fair, Derek. I don't know if Devin can play point guard long term. I don't. What I would like to see is Devin play in the California Classic. I would like to see him play in Vegas as well. I would like the Kings to give Devin a full summer, as if the same type of summer he would have had this past year had he not been hurt. So I want to take that time, because Doug Christie was pretty transparent about one of the reasons they sent him to Stockton was to make him be the guy to get the team into their sets. Unfortunately, I did not get to any of the games that Devin was playing in Stockton. I wish I would have, because I would have wanted to see if he was doing a lot of the same things that Mace does in Stockton. I mean, Mace is just go, go, go. No matter what happens, it's go. And they are up the court in a flash. And I know that because I sit right there on the court. So I don't know if Devin was doing the same thing, but Doug wanted Devin to get the team into their offense. So this summer, to me, is all about Devin Carter's handles. And it's also probably, I know you don't want to tweak, or sometimes it's a very fine line. Jerry Reynolds and I have had this conversation many times on the show about tweaking a guy's shot once you get to the pro level. Because if you got to the pro level with it at that point, it's kind of like golfers that have different swings, but they work. Like Scotty Scheffler is a great example of that. Peja Stojakovic, everything about his shot, fundamentally, you're thinking, no, you can't do that. Your elbow angle, your elbow's not pointed at the hoop. The way that the ball came off is follow through. You can't do that. And of course you can do it. Nobody tweaked Peja's shot, and he's one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. But Devin's, to me, is a little bit different. It's not the arc on Devin's shot that bugs me. It's the release. It's not a quick release. And so that's for the Kings and their coaches and their shooting specialists to figure out, not us. But undeniably, dribbling and handles, that is a check mark on 3 players' Summers list. Like the top of the list for 3 players. Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, and Devin Carter. All 3 of them. Handles, handles, handles. All summer long. Speaking of last night, Kings with a solid victory. Zach LaVine came alive. Doug Christie, really happy with what he saw. And by the way, remember, Malik Monk was a late scratch from the starting lineup. They had handed in the starters to the officials. And in the end, Keon got the start, which gave a lot of Kings fans a lot of excitement, thinking, all right, maybe we're going to see a change. And so on the postgame show, we were debating. We knew that something definitely played into it with Malik being sick and not rushing him back because he missed multiple games due to the illness. But you also can't deny what I said earlier, that the King, he was Keon Ellis, a plus 20, and he only scored 10 points. There was no denying the floor looked more balanced last night. And I will say this, Keon Ellis got the Kings into their offense very, very well and efficiently. And the pace was really good. Downside of that is it was against a bad team. And it's a small sample size. So is Doug Christie going to leave the door open? Could we see Keon still in the starting lineup? Here's Doug after the game.
Came out and put together a ball game against a team that has been playing well out of the All-Star break. They beat us. Chauncey's done one heck of a job with that team. A lot of length, athleticism. A lot of guys are shooting really well. There was, I try to reach our goals and get our guys to reach our goals. Obviously, 27 3-pointers isn't enough, and 23 assists. But 60 points in the paint is solid, and got to bring those turnovers down. But all in all, in a game that we really needed, guys came with the proper focus and attention to detail to get it done.
Doug, starting lineup was announced with Malik, then we saw Keon start. What went into that decision? What exactly happened there?
The decision was already made. I think we got 41 games here. And
bold, Jose. Like it, brother.
Get a little mix up, but no one asked me when I came in here earlier. I might have told you, Jay, if you asked. Yeah. This is the one time you didn't ask me 2 questions. You asked me one, and I answered it. Yes.
Is that a one-off, or is that something we're going to see down the stretch?
It's trying to work Malik back in and make sure that he's comfortable and he's feeling good. Like I told you guys in the presser in the beginning, Malik is okay with whatever. He is the consummate professional, and these guys understand winning over everything. So it's something that we will look at as we go. But for somebody who's been out as long as he has, with the sickness, and to be 6 for 9, 2 for 3, I'm gonna get on him about the turnovers always. That's just what I do, and he's gonna tell me some words that I can't use here, and I'm gonna love him for it. But he was fantastic. He played a really, really solid game, and you can see how much that we miss Malik and what he brings to the ball club.
The door is open. That's how I interpreted it. How about you? To me, the door is open for Malik coming off the bench again. Now, typically under a Mike Brown administration, which, remember, these coaches are his coaches still. They did not clean house when Mike Brown was fired. You don't lose your job due to an injury or illness. I can tell you, without looking at the statistics, And just looking at the basketball last night, it is so much better for the Kings to bring Malik Monk off the bench. Sure, there's the energy standpoint. There's the change of pace with the pick and roll. There's a decisive difference between what you can do with Monk on the floor with Sabonis and Monk off the floor and Sabonis on the floor with LaVine and DeRozan. It makes the most sense. Also, defensively, I think it's your best option to bring a little bit more pressure as well. And it helps you split up the time a little bit easier with LaVine and DeRozan, where they're on the floor at separate times as well, because it changes the rotation. So as we sit here today on Friday, March 28th, 2025, I'm telling you, for the Kings to have the best chance of winning games the rest of the season, Keon Ellis should be your starting point guard, and Malik Monk should be coming off the bench. It's just how I feel. I see it. I've seen I've got all the stat sheets from last night, from each quarter. I'm not going to read these to you. I'm not going to go through them. I am doing the eyeball test, and we are now at we've got 9 games, 10 games left in the season, 9, I think. I've seen enough. Start Keon. You know why, too? There is no reason, number one, that you need to run a play for him. He's not that guy. His offense does not affect his defense. It balances out the amount of shots that are on the floor with any given combination, especially your starting combination. There's too many shots on the floor with Monk, Sabonis, LaVine, and DeRozan. There's just too many shots. Somebody's not going to get enough shots because Monk, DeRozan, I'm going to leave Sabonis out of that because he's going to do what he's going to do regardless of whether he's getting shots or not. Monk, Monk, DeRozan, and LaVine all need shots to get going. All of them. Maybe DeRozan not as much. If I had to put it in order, I would say LaVine, Monk, DeRozan. And we haven't even said Keegan Murray's name yet. Keegan Murray is in the Ellis category, where his defense is not affected by his offense. However, I am also going to say you need to make, and with Keon Ellis on the floor, it makes it easier to make a concerted effort to get Keegan Murray involved in the offense. And they did that right off the bat last night. He scored 9 of the first 11 points for the Kings. Okay, I lied. I'm going to pull the first quarter stat sheet really quick. Check this out. Let me give you the shot distribution yesterday in the first quarter. Here's your shot distribution for the Kings. This is what I loved. 2 field goal attempts for DeRozan, 5 for Keegan Murray, 4 for Domas, 4 for LaVine, 4 for Ellis, which was crazy because Ellis had great looks, by the way, in the first quarter. He ended up knocking down the hardest of those 4 looks, but he had 3 wide open looks within the offense because, again, I feel like it was more balanced. Teams are going to play off Keon a little bit more, which is fine. Play off him. He can shoot that 3 ball normally at a higher percentage. Let me get back to the shot distribution. Monk, 2 shots. Lyles, 1 shot. Valanciunas, 2 shots. That is even balanced basketball. That's what you want to see. So I don't know where all of you stand because I'm a big Malik Monk guy. I love Malik. I love the energy he brings. I thought he looked great coming off the bench last night. But I just, again, if we're doing puzzle pieces and we're looking at also where are we going to be investing into the future, You know, like, are you going to put your money in an old established stock that barely moves and you know where it's headed? It's going to be solid. It's not going to give you much. Or are you going to put your money into something that might be a little bit more risky, but could definitely pay off more in the long run? And when I say put it in something a little bit more risky, that's what I'm saying. Get Keegan involved like you did last night a little bit more. Put Monk on the bench. You know what you're going to get with him. In fact, I think you get a better Malik Monk off the bench. There's more of a defined role for Malik Monk when he comes off the bench. When he starts, his role is so much more convoluted. So Doug left the door open there. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if Keon starts in Orlando. We'll see how Doug plays with it, what ends up happening. We'll know soon because the game's less than 24 hours away. In fact, the game will be going on. It'll be tipping off as we speak this time tomorrow. 2 o'clock start here on the West Coast. So Zach LaVine also had a big game. And here was the really quiet thing about last game that not a lot of people are talking about. DeMar DeRozan had 10 assists. That's big time. He has been passing the ball really well, and he hasn't just been passing the ball to the right spots. He's been putting the ball in the right places for some of these shooters. His passes have been lasers. Loved it. So big part of his game. He also got to the free throw line a lot last night, which helped out this team tremendously. He got to the free throw line 11 times last night. And by the way, again, we barely talked about Sabonis. He had 19 rebounds. Zach LaVine, though, much of the story last night, 29 points. He tied Keon Ellis for a team high plus 20 in the plus minus category. He's 13 of 18 from the field. Here was Zach after the game. No, why did you do that? There we go. Zach after the game.
Oh, damn.
Zach, tonight's game, it looked like one of the more balanced games that you have been around since the trade. Did you guys feel that? Like just the sharing of the ball, everybody contributing?
Yeah, I think we just played really hard too. I think we outplayed them on both ends. Obviously, give them credit. You know, they play hardest too, but it just seemed like we wanted this one more. So I think that's the way we have to go about it over these next 2 weeks.
To be able to finish, I mean, this was a pretty, gauntlet of a homestand for you guys, these 7 games. How much did it feel like in your mind, like a must win to be able to kind of at least go 3-4 and get out on the right track to this road trip?
Yeah, we didn't perform well.
9 of the first 11.
So it's good to go on the road, feeling better about ourselves, and having more of a real game under our belt, to where we can actually go show something and have some type of energy going into this. This road trip is tough too, so we need to have some energy going into it.
Zach, 29 points tonight, but you only got up 5 threes. Are you disappointed in that?
No, so I'm glad we won by 20.
60 points in the paint for you guys on 30 of 35. Just what do you think allowed you guys to succeed there, and was it a point of emphasis coming into the night?
I just think we read what the defense was giving us. The big fella in there, Kling's a big body, but we were moving the ball side to side, and I think even after makes and misses, we finally pushed the pace. We played a lot faster, and that got us easier looks in transition.
Progressive. I love progressive. It was all about the big man up until we got a big man. And ever since, it's been all about the threes. You want to know about King's 3-point attempts and what they should be at? Ask Progressive. Progressive is like digging into it. I love it. Keep it coming. Good stuff. Haunted Horse, I saw your comment too. We'll talk about that.
And I think that helps everybody all get in the rhythm.
Speaking of rhythm, you shot 65% from the floor. Doesn't happen every night. What do you attribute that to?
That sounded like Umar. Umar, were you in the press room last night, my man? I don't think he usually watches this show. He's always in the post-game show. Umar, were you in the post? Did you get a credential? That sounded just like him.
Helps everybody all get in a rhythm.
Speaking of rhythm, you shot 65% from the floor. Doesn't happen every night. What do you attribute that to?
I mean, guys making shots. Everything looks good when you make shots. I just think we had the right flow and the right mindset. I think we took a lot of good shots too. And even some of the shots, later in the game or when the game slows down, when you need to make a tough bucket. You've already seen some go in the basket as a team. We've had a good flow, so I think that attribute to that 65 number.
Yeah, it does matter 100%, Jose. Look, I am in the camp. This is not an argument that I am making because I am saying Keon Ellis is a better player than Malik Monk. It's not an argument that I'm making saying starting the game is more important than being on the floor at the end of the game. The argument that I'm making is when you put a basketball team together. Okay, let's listen to what blew me away really quick from Doug Christie yesterday before the game.
Times when you need an offensive team and you need a defensive team, and then you need a combination of both. And I think to your point, when you have two guys on the perimeter that can really guard and try to take.
Okay, Doug Christie said you need an offensive team, a defensive team, and a combination of both. Well, if that's the way that he is looking at things, what I'm saying is having Keon Ellis in the starting lineup, number one, the first thing I am looking at is effective ball handling. His ball handling has improved. It's not where it needs to be, but it has improved enough for me based off of the choices that the Kings currently have to run the point guard position. I think he is best suited right now to run that point guard position. What you lose with Keon Ellis starting is the pick and roll between Monk and Sabonis. What you gain with Keon Ellis starting is a more balanced unit. The ball has to move more, and Keon is a big part of the reason the ball moves more. Also, players were moving more. The spacing was much different. Keon Ellis can score, but he's not a scorer. Keon Ellis can make a play, but he's not necessarily a playmaker. Keon Ellis is just a very solid all-around basketball player. He's one of those guys that you need on your team to be a successful team. He's one of those guys that fills up the invisible stat sheet. He takes a lot of the pressure off of the Kings offense indirectly by being on the floor with Levine, DeRozan, Murray, Sabonis. Having Keon Ellis running the point keeps Sabonis more in the area where he needs to be, the paint. The Kings dominated the paint last night. And a lot of that was from the guards too. The guards attacked very well. They were very aggressive, okay? But it keeps Sabonis lower where you want him, where he can clean things up. He had 19 rebounds, and he still had 6 assists. But more importantly, it spaces out the floor with DeRozan and Levine. It doesn't put Monk in the same area, or it doesn't put Keon in the same areas all the time as DeRozan and or Levine. And with Monk, that would happen a lot of times. With Monk, he is a scorer, and he is secondly a playmaker. So if I am balancing out this thing, and I'm looking at what Sabonis brings to the table, I'm looking at what Keegan Murray brings to the table. And by the way, here's the point. This is the defensive point that not enough people are paying attention to. Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis can switch together. They can switch 1 through 4 defensively. You can't do that with Malik Monk. That gives you so much more flexibility within that starting lineup defensively. Because Keegan can play down low. He can also play up high. Keon can guard 1 through 4 if he needs to. Now, I'm not saying you start Keon Ellis on a 4. I'm talking about switching. It does not make the switches or the reds, what they call them. It does not really screw them up and put the Kings into mismatches. And here's the other thing. The Kings got 2 kills in the first quarter defensively. A kill, the Kings call a kill 3 possessions in a row where you stop the other team. They did that 2 times in the first quarter. And I think a lot of that is because of Keon and Keegan's ability to switch. So, yes, it does matter. If you want the Kings to get out to better starts, it means that there's more shots for Zach LaVine. It means there's more shots for Keegan Murray. There's more shots for DeMar DeRozan. And what's really cool, I just laid it out in order. In order of the guys that you need to get going, it's probably LaVine, Murray, DeRozan. DeRozan is passing the ball incredibly. So he can also play a little bit of that point role as well in that starting lineup and switch it up. So yes, I think it makes a massive difference. There's not as much over dribbling when Keon Ellis is out there. There's just not. At least there wasn't last night. So that's where I'm at. And you guys, I would love to know where you're at. Call the show. Tell me. I just think it's the right basketball move. You've got too much firepower in the starting lineup. Too much with Malik Monk out there. That was different before Zach LaVine came. That was much different before Zach LaVine came. Look at how balanced that's when De'Aaron Fox was out. That was when the Kings played their best basketball because you had Monk and Ellis in the backcourt. And you had Monk and Keegan on the floor together. And I don't think anybody else in Sacramento is talking about the switching that can be done between Keegan and Keon and how important that is. If you hear that question asked to Doug Christie, I guarantee you he gives you a 2 to 3 minute response. This is the only place I think in Sacramento. I am the only person talking about the importance of that with Keon being in that starting lineup because you can't do that with Malik Monk. So it was good to see Zach LaVine get going as well. Haunted Horse. Now, although controversial, as he usually is, it's not a bad question. If I'm betting futures, am I buying the Blazers? Or he's buying the Blazers and selling the Kings? I'm sorry. I don't necessarily disagree. As we sit today on March 28th, that could very well change after the draft, after free agency. But Portland's program is more solid than the Kings program right now. I'm sorry. And they've got an ownership issue too. And it's not affecting what's going on with the basketball product. They've got an owner that's supposed to be selling the team. Correct me if I'm wrong, Haunted Horse. Sure, right there in the middle of it. But I see his argument. I can't hate on it. As a Kings fan, be objective for a second. Just be objective. It's a good question. I see both sides of it. If you're a financial advisor, you could convince me both ways. So good job, little guy.
Not so fast, midget. Not so fast.
Midget?
Yeah, little guy.
Good job, little guy. All right. We have talked a lot. Tristan, yo, fellas. I miss the wrestling segment. Oh, well, they've got a call. That's not on me. Whenever they want to call in, it's Royal Rumble Friday. We have talked a ton of Kings. We have talked a ton of basketball. It's now time for them to do their jobs. Tay calling in. What's up, Tay?
Hey, Rhino. How's your Friday going?
Great. How's yours, bud?
Good. I think there's a couple guys in the league that provide a lot of spark off the bench. On top of my head, I can name some. Peyton Pritchard for the Celtics, Derek Jones Jr. for the Clippers, Scoot Henderson for the Blazers, and I would like to see it also Malik Monk for the Kings make that list. I think it's no-brainer. It's like beating a dead horse at this point that Malik Monk is a perfect six-man for this team. And I would like Doug Christie to realize that too. I'm sure he's hearing a lot of the noise as well. I think this change, whether he continues with Malik Monk off the bench or not, I think is going to impact the next 10 games and potentially whether the Kings make the play-in or not. But
Tay, you there? Tay? We lost Tay for a second. I want to say this. I think Tay just made an incredible point. I think Tay just made the point of the day, actually. That for this team, Malik Monk is better off the bench. This team today is not the same team that was together when he was inserted into the starting lineup. It's an excellent point. It's a great point, Tay. Let me try to bring him back. Let's see if he's there. Tay, you there?
yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi was spotty.
Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, I'm here. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's not the same team. Well,
It's your point. It's your point. It was an
Yeah.
excellent one.
So, yeah, we can only see what Doug does tomorrow. And I think regarding tomorrow's game right now, I think there's 3 losses for the Kings that stand out to me this year. Number 1 is the Bucks because of Giannis, enough said. Number 2 is against the Thunder because of SGA, enough said. And the third loss is to the Magic earlier in the year. I remember in that game, the Magic center Goga Bidotsi. I've never even heard of the guy, but I only knew of him because he was 7 of 7 on that game, scored 14 points. Franz Wagner made like 5
A
3-pointers.
zillion.
In the third quarter, Cole Anthony and Anthony Black also had solid games. Kings just didn't have answer for, the entire Magic team, and I don't think I think the key for tomorrow is I want to see a double big lineup potentially, especially when they play, 3 guys above 6'10", So, but I don't know if Douglas Christie is going to utilize that, but it's just a horrible matchup for us tomorrow. I hope they can pull it out, but I'm not too confident.
Here's the other thing, Tay, that we forget. Well, 2 things. If I'm the Kings, Wagner was talking a ton of trash to the
Yep.
bench. I remember that. I would be
That third
remembering
quarter,
that.
I remember.
Yeah, I would be remembering that. The second thing that I think we're forgetting about that matchup was the Kings' first game back after a very, very long road trip. You're looking at it right now. The Kings were at Denver, New York, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, OKC, and Minnesota. They had 1 day off, and then it was Orlando. So not making excuses for the Kings, but typically for every NBA team, that first game back from a long trip, especially a East Coast road trip, that's a big deal. And it's hard to get going. So I would think this team will have should have a chip on its shoulder.
I hope so too. But like I said, that center Goga Bidotsi, I never heard of him, and you shouldn't let those, role players dominate you. It's one thing to, have Franz Wagner or Banchero, dominate your team, but they can't have everybody in the Magic punking us like last game.
I would agree.
All right. Thanks, Rhino.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Good job, Tay. Well done. Wonderful point by Tay. Wonderful point by Tay. And I'm glad that we're talking more about that Orlando game because, again, that was after that long road trip. So, all right. Speaking of trips, we're going to take you to a different place of the show. We're going on a little trip to WWE land. We are going to talk the road to WrestleMania. What's going on right now in the WWE, what to expect. We will do about a 15-20-minute wrestling segment. I know Adam wanted Alex to be a part of this, so we'll see if that works out as well. But a lot going on in the world of wrestling. WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania. Actually, no. Let me let the great Howard Finkel do the job.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Stop the pace!
introducing
Adam Uso.
Holy cow, I'm not even ready to go. Holy smokes. There we go. All right, I'm in. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
What's with my camera? There we go.
You know, so for those that don't know, Adam and I are friends. And so we talk offline, and I hit him up last week because one of the things Grant taught me early on is is uncomfortable as it is. Early on, you have to re-listen to yourself and sometimes rewatch yourself. So I was rewatching a segment of last Friday's show, and it's the first time I noticed, look behind Adam right there. He's got the entire bloodline standing up and acknowledging in a WWE ring. Are you kidding me, bro?
It's all about the details.
Like, I hit him up immediately. I'm like, holy crap. That's crazy. That's commitment.
Yeah. I've been collecting those stupid figurines like crazy lately too. So yeah, I thought it was only fitting that they float around behind me. I got some more going on back there, but one day I'll revamp the office and you'll get a full look at it.
Great success.
Very nice, my wife.
By the way, in rewatching last week's segment, I realized that you have been making a terrible mistake when talking about the world heavyweight champion. You have not been saying his name properly.
Gunther. Yeah,
Yes.
you're correct. I've kind of dropped it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm assimilating with the rest of the common folk.
So, we are 3 weeks away from WrestleMania.
Yeah, just about, man. What do we got? What's today's date? Yeah, 3 weeks away, man. Let's go. We only have 6 matches slated so far.
Yeah, that's a little bit light for a WrestleMania card. I would be expecting them to add some type of multi-man match. I don't know if it's going to be like a ladder match didn't they do a ladder match last year at Mania for like the IC title or one of the titles?
I can't even remember what we did last week sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point.
But
especially
we do
during basketball season.
I think unofficially we've got the Rhea, Bianca, Io Sky 3 triple threat match, and then we've got I don't even know if it was official after last week, but the CM Punk.
It is. It is official.
It is official. Yes. Official. They didn't announce it on the show, but it is official. So we got a couple of those. Like I said last week, I'm not the biggest fan of the triple threat match, but I think more so with the women's championship. I don't love a triple threat match there, but That's just me.
So I'm looking at Sports Illustrated and their projected card for WrestleMania. We know we have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, which, by the way, I was not. I told you all, and you. I'm getting back feed from you. I'm wondering if that's me or
Probably.
you.
I can turn down my levels a little bit.
Or feedback. I said back feed. Okay, that's fine. I said I would. Yeah, we're better. I said I was not a fan of the John Cena Cody Rhodes thing. If both of them were going to be faces, they obviously have not gone that way. John Cena's done a wonderful job so far as a heel. It's been great.
Yeah, and it was fun to, there's a lot going on here, right? I think, people are starting to get on my jock back feed. People are starting to get on my idea of how WrestleMania looks. And, I don't think I actually want to see it, but I think it would be cool if Cody does a heel turn and both he and The Rock sort of bury John Cena. I think it gets John Cena back to a face turn. And then you have a story, right? For John Cena, at least. I think more than anything, if we do see this Cody heel turn and then maybe John Cena turns face again, he needs to win Money in the Bank, because I think it could run kind of similarly to what Tiffy did this past year with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and just kind of stringing you along a little bit, but everyone would be rooting for John to cash in at the right moment on Cody. And then I think you could take the belt off of John Cena with a Randy Orton match. But no, he won't. He won't come out bald.
He needs to. He just needs to come home, man. That bald spot. I'm with him. I'm with Mars. Mars is up there now. He's knocking on the door for comment of the day with Einhorn and Giddy. So, anyways,
I'm not gonna call anyone out on their hair follicle capacity, or whatever we want to call it. There he is. But no,
I'm acknowledging Adam as we speak.
At least Cena hasn't gone the route of LeBron and Wayne Rooney and gotten these crazy hair plugs and all that stuff. So you got to respect that a little bit. But what's funny about the John Cena story is that he hasn't done anything that necessarily goes against hustle, loyalty, and respect. Does he have respect for Cody? I think so. Does he have loyalty to Cody? No, he never did have loyalty to Cody. And you notice these like subtleties. He hustles in the ring, but when he comes out and shows his little napkin, he's not hustling to the ring to get in there, so there's like some subtle things there that I really love. What they're doing with this John Cena character. What's up, Alex? There he is.
He has loyalty to himself now.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the segment.
Yeah, of course, man. When like I said, when Adam calls, you got to answer. He's a oos. You can't deny the ooses, man.
He is an oos. For those that don't know, he was appointed an oos by Jey Uso directly. That's not a lie. That is real.
That's as official as you can get. You know what I mean? I mean, it just is what it is.
It's pretty darn cool, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And real quick about the Cena hair stuff, I personally think he's doing it on purpose, because before I get jumped on about it, he had it in the past. He just hit it. He used to get a high fade, like a high military fade. Because the only thing that's balding is the back spot of his. You know what I mean? So he was able to hide it when he had the high fade. I'm not sure why he doesn't do that still. But anyway, I'm not trying to, like Adam said, talk about anybody's hair follicles, but I think it could still be hidden.
Well, I think he should.
business, though.
I think that he should just go the Carlos Boozer LeBron route and just get the spray paint and just hit the spot with it, right? One night only. He only wrestles what, like once every 3 or 4 months? It'll last for the match.
Sweat off.
Can you imagine
down the back of his
can
neck?
you imagine him taking a bump and then just seeing the spots all over the ring everywhere his head hits?
Well, it's
Be
just
great.
crazy to me because usually people going through that, they cater to that area. Unless you're Tom Thibodeau, who's been hanging on for that little comb over spot for, I don't know, 30 years, it seems like. But like I said, yes, I mean, people will do a comb over, they'll do whatever. And Cena's highlighting that spot by having his hair long. So I don't know. It's weird to me. But I don't know. Maybe it adds on to the heel persona, I guess.
Okay. Well, you know what? I am not now opposed to Adam's storyline. I'm actually in on Adam's storyline, but I don't like the Money in the Bank part. I think that it's got to be. This is the 17th World Championship.
It's got to be a moment, right?
It's gotta it cannot be diminished by a cheap cash in unless he wins Money in the Bank and he does what he's done in the past, where he announces, I'm going to cash in next week for this championship, right? Or I'm going to do it at SummerSlam, and maybe that's what extends out, whatever, but it's got to be a full one-on-one fair match. But it is a good way to get off to the races and turn Cena back face. But is that too soon, guys?
Well, I think where my head goes is, when do you turn Cena back face? Because you have to turn him face.
You do.
Before he retires, right? So how do you get there?
That's a good point.
That's why I like the whole double turn idea. I gave you your props the other day, Adam, because I'm like, that's perfect. Because then they can prolong the story. It's going to be, an extra, I don't know how many months we're going to do it till SummerSlam, till Survivor Series even. I don't think they'll go that far. But I love the idea because there's just no way to get out of it. I highly doubt he'll win the title as a heel at WrestleMania. Even though Ric Flair announced he's going to be there at WrestleMania, is he going to be a heel and help Cena too? I don't know, but I like Adam's idea a lot. It helps prolong the story for sure.
Ric Flair is at every WrestleMania. He's at every convention to sign things. Ric Flair he's turned into the wrestler, even though that movie wasn't made about him, but. Rick went out, Rick screwed it up. He went out so perfect at WrestleMania 24. The tribute they did the night afterwards for him was unlike anything that I had seen in WWE in a really long time. They completely broke what they call quote unquote kayfabe and had all the superstars out and cheering for him. Front lines were heels and faces. And then this dude comes back and wrestles. Where did he wrestle? TNA or someplace?
Did wrestle in TNA.
Yeah.
Well, and it was even other little like rinky-dink promotions too, just for the Ric Flair name. It kind of cheapened the whole thing, as Ryan pointed out.
Yeah, DSC. It was so perfect with Shawn Michaels saying, "I'm sorry, I love you."
Yep.
The whole Rolex exchange. Man, that's where like somebody needed to save Rick from Rick, but I guess there is no saving Rick from Rick. And Shawn Michaels actually, he did not want to make the same mistake, and they ended up making the same mistake when he came back for Crown Jewel with that awful match where he teamed up with Triple H versus, was it Taker and Kane?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that even Taker I think talks about how bad that one was.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, to me, I loved DX growing up, but it was when the DX are like in their 50s still doing the suck it stuff. It was kind of cringe, you know what I mean? And they're all older, and it was fun when we were kids, but it's like seeing your grandpa doing that stuff. It's like, come on, what are you doing? What are you
Well,
doing?
you know what? When Sean and like that older stage for sure,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
around Crown Jewel, yeah.
yeah.
But when Sean and Triple H were doing DX on their own for a while,
Mhm.
like from 2007 to like 2009, there was some really funny stuff there. Or maybe it was
Well,
like
yeah.
2004 to 2007. I want to say.
They were still in their cool uncle phase, but they after the crown jewel stuff, they were in like their grandpa stage. So yeah, it wasn't cool anymore. I'm not.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Adam?
My thoughts are: is it better to burn out or to fade away?
Wow, that's great.
Because only reason why I say that, I was listening to Busted Open earlier today, and they obviously Bubba Ray Dudley's on that show. They had Devon on the show today as well, and the Hardy Boys are calling out the Dudleys, and they are setting up a Hardy Dudley Boys match. Can you see that? That might be a night one matchup at WrestleMania.
Stop
I
it.
think they're pushing it more towards TNA. It might
Stop it.
be more likely for TNA for that match to happen on, but they were going back and forth today. So
If that is a night one match at WrestleMania, like don't even anyways. Here's what I am gonna say. They need to WWE. They need to find a way to continue to have more shows internationally. The international shows have been, for the most part, with the exception of one of the crowds, I forget which one it was. Was it maybe Barcelona? One of the crowds was not good. It surprised me. But the international crowds have been incredible, guys. Can you imagine a WrestleMania with 60,000, 70,000? And I know you're going to have a lot of Americans come over too, but they're going to do the same things that the internationals will do. It just, the atmosphere is so cool for those shows where they're singing theme songs and just so into it.
It makes the shows, without exaggerating, 5 times better. And they're obviously the crowd isn't trying to be a part of the show, but it does make the show just so much better. You know what I mean? You're into it. It's just it's good. Yeah, I agree. There should be more international stuff. Shame on us in the U.S. for not bringing it, I guess.
Well, it's not so much that you're not bringing it. It's just it's more.
They use soccer chants the whole time.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
you're
true.
true.
That's true. Very true.
They only get it like once a year. We get it 364 days a year, you know?
Mhm.
It's normally here in America. Usually the Canadian. Oh, it was the Canadian fans that disappointed me. That's what it was.
Oh, well, Pat
Yo, Canada.
called him out on that.
Did he call them out? They should have, because they were awful at the last. What was the last pay-per-view? Rumble? Yeah.
No, Rumble was in Indianapolis. It was
Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
They were awful. It was the worst crowd ever. And usually Canadian fans are really good, like especially Toronto. I think back to that Edge and John Cena TLC match in 2006, 2007. That entire card was unforgiven. It was off the freaking chain. And now it was just like, what?
I don't think they're bad fans. I think there's a political aspect going on right now between us. And
that's true. Yeah.
They booed the national anthem for the United States. So you're not getting off on the best foot.
Let's break format very quickly because I want to be respectful to Manuel and Johnny and the rest talking about the Sabonis rumors. Look, of course, who would not ask what? Ask yourself this. If you are in the prime of your career and you have no idea where your organization's headed and your work is being diminished because of the organization, i.e. Domantas Sabonis missing all-star games, of course you're going to ask for direction. Of course you're going to want to know if this thing's turning around, what's the plan, because you don't want your legacy to be hurt. So I don't care if his agent's leaking it out. I don't care if his dog is barking it out. It's as obvious as day, but here's the difference between Sabonis and Fox. Sabonis, you would never know. Dude plays the same every single night and brings it, regardless of where he stands with the organization, where he stands with the coach. He brings it. Fox didn't do that. So we can talk all day about whether or not Sabonis can get fair value or the Kings can get fair value, but it's obvious. Of course, he's going to want to know that, and he possibly might want out. Who wouldn't, y'all? Let's be real. Anyways, back to wrestling. Anything to add to that, you two?
The Sabonis stuff, I mean, where would you trade him? I think Portland could be a destination. They'd be willing to take on. Portland's kind of in the same boat with Sac, in my opinion.
Just younger, but yeah.
Well, I just mean like at a market, like as a market, Portland is probably pretty similar to Sac. It's not a huge city, but I think the X factor there is that his dad played in Portland. You don't think Sabonis would want to go out in Portland?
Yeah, well, maybe. But, okay, well, that scares me even more. You know why? Because this organization just did it. They bent over backwards for a player that mailed it in for a season and a half. To get him where he wanted to go, they put him before the future of this team. You should have kept De'Aaron on this team until the very least the offseason. If he became a distraction, then you send him off for surgery and you're done with it. You played better without him. Now, do you still get Valanciunas? I don't know, right? But I don't want to trade Sabonis to Portland because that's where he wants to be and he deserves if it's not a good package in return. I mean, like that's where it goes back to the 3-ring leader of the circus, Vivek Ranadive, up top. But I agree with you. I see the point. I just think the market, Alex, for Sabonis,
It's slim.
It's slim. It's not, you can't put Sabonis in the same market as other stars. Greg Anthony said it the other night, and he said it perfectly. The Kings' problem is their star player, their main player, is not a guy that's a natural scorer. It attracts a ton of attention from the defense. And also, he's undersized. Now, he's in a small group of players that play a certain way that is very special. He's a diet Jokic, and obviously you've got the guy in Houston coming up behind as well, playing really well, made the All-Star team this year. So you got 3 guys, Şengün, Sabonis, and Jokic, who does it the best, that play that similar style. The difference is the 2 above and under. Exactly. The 2 that are above and under Sabonis in the rankings, they're both bigger than Sabonis. And so you're going to take a haircut on this guy because your offense either needs to be centered around him or you've got to find ways. You have to run a specific system already that he fits into, or you've got to fit the system to him, Alex.
No, great stuff. And I'm kind of hoping, obviously we're speculating, but I'm hoping it's just pressure from Sabonis' agent, whoever's leaking it out, that, because between the two, Fox is probably the better player overall, I would say. I mean, more talented at least. But yeah, he kind of mailed it in. You kind of saw it as, the weeks, months were coming. But with Sabonis, he's a guy that does play almost every night. He gives you your all every night. you know what you're going to get, as Ryan has said a bunch of times already. So if someone is going to tell the team, hey, what are we going to do? Maybe that's somebody you actually listen to, you take serious. I don't think he actually wants to leave. He's made it clear, even on that Netflix show, his wife loves living in California and he likes living in Napa and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, I bet.
What was that?
Yeah, no, you're
I
right.
said, yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't love Napa?
Yeah.
Napa making $47 million a year. It's the greatest day of my life.
Sabonis is like this mix between Vlade and Weber. Like he's not as big as Vlade. He's probably an equal passer. Maybe not there.
No,
But-
he's not as good of a passer as Vlade. I don't put him there.
He gave a horrible alley-oop to Levine last night. It was crazy. But yeah, go ahead.
But he's also not as explosive as Weber maybe was in his prime, right? So he's sort of in the middle there. I've always said I would love to see Sabonis as a 4 rather than a 5.
Yeah, we could do an entire show on that alone. Look, the point of what I said or what I was trying to get across is I don't care where Sabonis is traded. I don't care if it's the Warriors. I don't care if it's the Lakers. I don't care if it's the Charlotte Hornets. What I care about is you get the best deal at the right time for the future of this franchise. Sabonis has already shown, even if he wants out, he's not going to pull a De'Aaron Fox and quit on the team. Look, it's not a secret anymore that Sabonis and Mike Brown were not on the same page. Did that ever come to the surface? It never did. Ever. Everybody pointed the finger at De'Aaron Fox, including me. But there's a reason I pointed the finger at De'Aaron Fox, because it had more to do with his actions rather than his words. You would have never known that Sabonis had an issue with Mike Brown. So no rush. If he's got an issue with the organization, he's got an issue, unless he says, I'm sitting out and I'm not playing, and takes that stance, which I don't see him doing, knowing his mindset. And I said this before, and Grant completely validated what I said. Sabonis has this insecurity, and it's a good insecurity. He thinks, or I shouldn't say he thinks, I don't know what he thinks. I'm not in his head. But Sabonis has this insecurity that, why me? Like, I need to keep proving myself. He has this insecurity. He doesn't take for granted his spot in the NBA. He wants to get better. He doesn't sit there and say, I've made it. He still, for whatever reason, in whatever gaps in his games, holes in his games, can see himself as replaceable. And that is a great trait in a star. That's an incredible trait for a player when it comes to work ethic, because you many times see the opposite. So I just don't see him folding up camp. I see him keep on doing what he's doing. But when the time is right, if that's what happens, pull the trigger when it's right for the Kings. Don't do it on Sabonis' timeline. Do it on the Kings' timeline. Got to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think you bring up a good point about the Fox trade. I think both you and I were on the same team of like, get rid of this dude ASAP. And I think seeing the way things have unfolded over the past, 2 months, whatever it's been. Yeah, maybe we should have kept him a little bit longer. I mean, we did get some draft picks, whatever, but can we please just get rid of this Kevin Huerter draft pick to the Hawks? Like, be done with this. It's 3 years going on. I'm sick of wondering what's happening with our draft pick this year.
This is the year. This is the year. It either goes. It conveys to 2 second-round picks if it doesn't go this year. So next year it'll be 2 second-round picks. 2026.
Next year.
No, it's not
Here
next
we
year.
go
You know
again.
what it is. It's 2 second-round picks. It's not.
Yeah. I know. I'm just.
It's in stone. It can't change no matter what the team does. It's 2 second-round picks if it doesn't convey this year.
They made it a convoluted trade for. I feel like that they didn't have to do that for Herter. I don't know why that was done. I mean, like Adam said, it was like a 3-year thing. You know what I mean? I almost wish they would have done it the previous year, just a straight up, first round swap. Maybe they were trying to hope it wouldn't convey to a first, but yeah, it has been lingering for a long time.
Well, I think the hope was when we made that trade is that it would have been done the first year.
Yeah.
The next year after we got Kev, he would have been, that draft pick would have been gone, and but it just strung out so long. We can't trade, we can't make moves. It's pending.
No, that's a
Been a
misconception.
nightmare.
You can trade. You can make moves. The front office didn't for 2 trade deadlines.
Yeah.
But didn't that handcuff us a little bit just because we didn't know which picks we could trade, and then the partner we'd have like, well, and if you guys make it, then we'll get this. So it's kind of hard to like say, hey, you're gonna get this draft pick when we didn't know what we're gonna convey,
But but not all those trades that were on the table necessarily were centered around draft picks. Like you can get creative. You can trade draft picks that are, years out. Look what the Suns did with the Jazz with consolidating draft picks. Johnny, let's go to the judges.
Aiden, Jeremy Grant, Simmons, Thibault. Yeah. I kind of hate that trade, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I mean, how many years does Valanciunas have left? Good years.
2 maybe.
He's got more good years than that. He's got 2 under contract here with the Kings.
And I like that.
Okay, well, to piggyback, how many more years do you think he has, Ryan? Like I guess right now, type of years, how he is right now.
I got to think about it.
I still think it's 2. His knees are pretty blasted at times, and he is 33 or whatever he is. I think it's 2, and he's a big dude, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good. We could talk about it. It's a decent conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something that probably the front office has been talking about. Yeah, there's no way Portland does that trade. No chance in the world. And by the way, I would not want that trade whatsoever. Johnny, they're completely.
I mean, if they don't get a new
Johnny,
owner.
they're completely different players. You can't even compare them. They're apples and oranges.
Oh, you know what? Real quick, now that he brought that up, I didn't follow Laravia's career before Sacramento, so I don't know how he was in college or with the Grizzlies too much. But is he injury prone, or he's just had a bad string of luck with us lately?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would chalk it up to a bad string of luck. Grant talked to Eric Hasseltine, who is the Grizzlies radio guy and a very good friend of Grant's, and he had nothing but great things to say about Jake. But I don't remember injury prone being a part of that. So
yeah, because there was one game where he played like 30 some minutes, and then he had right knee soreness the next day, and then there was the thumb thing that happened, and then a hip thing. I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, is he injury prone, or he's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I think we got to realize he plays a style that is prone to injury.
True.
Which is actually kind of a good thing. The Kings need that style. That's where it's going to be on Jake to figure out how to protect his body a little bit better if he's going to be getting those types of minutes and those types of assignments. But you need Doug Christie loves the guy. There's no doubt about that. All right, guys, let's go back to wrestling really quick. Wrap this up. Anything else you guys want to hit on in the WWE world?
You know, real quick, before Adam goes, I want to ask you guys an impossible booking question for both of you. Obviously, we don't think Cena's going to win at WrestleMania, but let's say, I don't know, Triple H is in charge and he tells Ryan and Adam, hey, I want Cena to win as a heel. But I want you to book it. How would you book that?
I would have him win at WrestleMania. I'd send it and we'll figure the rest out later.
Okay, so that's the concrete decision right there. Okay.
For me,
No,
I don't know
well,
how to,
I don't think it's that easy. I think you would have to send it in a direction that takes Cody's attention somewhere else off of Cena. You wouldn't keep a Cody Cena feud going. Although Cena and Cody would have unfinished business, I think although a clean victory is the way to do it, probably because of the 17th title. If it's at WrestleMania, clean or not, it's legitimate, right? It will be considered big. But you've got to, who is that person that could step in to screw Cody over? And it doesn't even have to be something where it's like blatantly lost him the match. It can be nuanced. But well, maybe it does need to be blatant. I don't know. Don't you think there's got to be a third person, Alex and Adam?
I kind of think they hire Cody's brother and maybe do something with him, beat him up, and Cody tries to protect him. I don't know. I'm throwing feelers out there, dude. That's why I call it an impossible booking decision, because you don't want to book that. I'm saying if you were put in a corner, hey, book this.
Yeah, I would probably. It's where The Rock would have to come into play. It would have to be The Rock, and it's either The Rock or it's The Rock and whoever his next sidekick is. You know what I mean?
Final thing for me, is it time to pull the plug on the Wyatt Six?
I think they've already pulled the plug.
Is it for real? I could have swore. Okay.
No.
Okay.
They haven't been on TV in 2 months.
Lashley is on AEW now.
Yeah.
He is a tag team
Bobby Lashley's AEW.
You know,
Rock is interesting. Someone else referenced Vinnie Mac coming back.
No chance.
I know there's no chance. But that would be
so really quick, let's clean a couple things up. Brock Lesnar was named in one of the petitions that was filed, an additional petition in Janelle Grant's suit. So Brock Lesnar is not going to be in WWE anytime soon. I can promise you that, because TKO still holds liability because McMahon was on the board, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, I'm going into the court part of this, King's Court. What was it was the Wyatt Six. Alexa Bliss. What is that the only thing they're waiting on to like clean it up with the Wyatt Six, or no?
I have no idea. I think Alexa Bliss is the only hope for this Wyatt Six at this point. Otherwise, they just disappear.
I might be in the. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Hector, Batista deflated. He's
skinny.
He looks like a prune.
But I was gonna say I might be in the minority, but I wasn't a huge fan of Alexa being this evil whatever. I was the biggest and still is the biggest fan of the goddess Alexa. I wish they would just go back to that and have her get every record. I'm waiting for that every day. I'm waiting for that every single day.
I'm waiting for AJ Lee to come back. I want AJ Lee to come back.
AJ's cool too, but I got goddess Alexa, dude. I need that.
I like
back.
Alexa too. But she's a mom now. She's different. Like, you know where they messed up with the Wyatt Six is, and Adam and I had this conversation before the Wyatt Six debuted. It was, you cannot have Bo Dallas try to act like Bray Wyatt. Bo Dallas has to find the fine line of being Bo Dallas while also honoring Bray Wyatt. But instead, you've got 6 Bray Wyatts out there that are, it's just all this.
Yeah, like Dexter Lumis.
Dexter Lumis, why isn't he doing his little ring crawl anymore? He should.
He's not doing anything. He's sitting backstage eating popcorn the
Don't
whole
you
time,
have
like
a
me.
Dexter Lumis autograph?
I do have a Dexter.
So the value is
Lumis
not good on
autograph.
that. By the way,
it's not good. I need some return.
AJ Styles is going to be booked, and these were the matches that we're talking about. He's going to be Logan Paul, it looks like.
Well, I guess the last point to that question I brought up, is it just hard to do Supernatural today? I mean, unless you're Undertaker, basically, because he's grandfathered into it, or I mean,
is it what?
Is it just like impossible to do the whole Supernatural stuff unless you're Undertaker, who's already grandfathered into it? Because in today's time, I'm saying.
I think you got Judgment Day. You've got, I mean, Damian Priest and Rhea. You sort of had that with Karrion Kross and New Testament.
Kinda,
yeah. Yeah, right. It's not dead. I think they started out really hot with Wyatt 6, and it was great, and it was cool and eerie. Chad Gable died.
But then he wrestled the next week. Like they no sold it completely.
You know, I think it's a little misdirected, and maybe they, you know, I think you gotta highlight some of the ancillary pieces of Wyatt 6, not just Bo Dallas's Uncle Howdy. And you're right. Like, why is Bo Dallas Uncle Howdy? Make a new freaking character.
And here's the other thing. You kind of put Bo Dallas's lack of working skills on blast by how long you left them off TV. It was just these videotapes, and then you'd have a terrible match, and then these videotapes. Oh, dude, DSC, Papa Shango used to scare the crap out of me. Like when the Ultimate Warrior was on the training table, and all of a sudden, like, I'm not going to say what happened. Haunted Horse has a button for it. I was like creeped out. They're the legit people that have scared me growing up. The most recent one that scared me was probably Kane when he debuted at that age, and I was a teenager. That was
all the little kid, and that scared the heck out of me too. He ripped the door off. Dude. I was like, "Oh, that dude is."
Yeah.
I thought at that time I thought he was from hell. I was like 7 though, but still, I was like, dude, that's the scariest guy I've ever seen.
Because Undertaker was here, and then you bring in Kane, and you're like, it's his brother, and he died in a fire. You're like, oh my god, Kane. It's too good. No, I don't think it's dead. I think it just maybe it's been overdone a little bit, and I don't know. There needs to be a new angle with sort of that spooky crowd.
I really like the booking thing. How do you guys fix it? Again, if Triple H goes to Adam and Rhino, hey, this Wyatt 6 thing isn't really working. I need you guys to fix it. I want to sell more masks. How do we do it?
Hold on really quick. So I got to give my boy a shout out. I love me some RKO. Orton's my dude. Okay, no, I don't like that part of Orton, man. I'll tell you what. I got to spend in excuse me. Should have used my cough button and eat. Wait, this is gonna sound weird. Okay, I need to start that off. Yeah, that was not weird. Going good.
How much did you pay?
I swiped the wrong way and I got the Viper, bro. No,
Jesus.
Anyways, yeah, I got to go out with him and one of my friends that works with the company. Cool dude. cool dude. That was like during his transitional phase. That wasn't during his like quite like Papa Orton phase right now, but he wasn't like the, you know, kind of D-bag Delta Bravo Orton either. So love me some Orton. Anyways, how do you fix it?
How do you fix the Wyatt Six? You probably just give it 6 months and get rid of it. And
No, I 100%. I think you just wipe it off the map. And if you're gonna do anything that has to do with Bray, you take away the Uncle Howdy stuff, you repackage Bo Dallas. It's definitely not going to be the Bo leaving and running around the ring. And it's not going to be Uncle Howdy. It's got to be somewhere in the middle. It's got to be more reality based, in my opinion. And maybe you can do something with Alexa Bliss and him. Maybe they start introducing a mixed tag team title, you know, something along those lines.
you're kind of onto something, because you could take that like Kevin Owens angle where he was spying in on Sami Zayn's family, and you make it creepy and freaking weird with Wyatt Six, and like, okay, like Karrion Kross, you're our next target, and you do weird things to get. Well, shit, they already did that.
Okay, but
sorry. All right.
I guess what I'm saying is the time's done. Like you can't go back to being scary anymore. Like the Undertaker never wasn't scary until he turned into the motorcycle gimmick.
American
Like
Badass.
it's done. And yes, Doink was so unsettling. The only thing more unsettling than Doink was Dink, and having both of them running around. I don't like clowns. I can't stand
oddities?
clowns.
The oddities were always my favorite. It was like ICP, the Great Kurgan. They just had like these wild, like they were just misfits, jobbers of the WWE. They threw them all together in a group. They were billed as freakazoids that went out there, and 9 out of 10 times they lost, but they won every 1 out of every 10 matches. And it was
You know
pretty
what we
fun to
should
watch.
do? We'll put together in the off season when we have more time, because we're gonna get ready to wrap up. But we'll put together our lists of like the worst, like the biggest flameouts that were kind of like weird characters that WWE put a lot behind. There's some of them, like Kazarni is definitely one of them. Who is that? Let's see.
Tugboat, also known as the Ringmaster. They threw his ass under a bus. Or Shockmaster. Sorry.
Shockmaster.
He was Tugboat,
yeah.
He was Typhoon, and then he was Ringmaster.
What was the other one that I was gonna say? I was gonna say it wasn't Kazarni. It was somebody else. But now I've lost it, and we have lost the segment, guys. I appreciate you both. Fun job. We will regroup. Is SmackDown overseas tonight again? So it's a must watch.
And then it is a must watch. Monday night is in London, I believe, and CM Punk is slated for that one. I think we're going to see some Cody tonight. Probably not Cena. Actually, Cena's not scheduled for another 3 weeks, to my knowledge. So, Tatanka, hey, DSC, how about this?
Nice.
You like Tatanka? There he is,
I didn't
buddy.
know that Tatanka was still. Yeah, I buried Tatanka.
Still kicking. He's not Howard Finkel.
I accidentally buried Tatanka. The Bushwhackers. That's who I was gonna say. Remember the Bushwhackers?
Yeah, there you go. That thing. Yeah.
And they lick people's heads.
They
after
would
they
lick people's faces in the crowd. There you go.
Yeah.
My goodness. We have come off the rails. Oh, by the way, last thing, WWE really messed up last SmackDown.
Say his name and he appears.
Or did you?
Okay, but
or
the
did you mess
Smack-
it up for me? Because
Maybe
I
I
was
messed it up.
expecting that.
But the Jimmy smack on
Oh
my boy.
yeah, that was good.
He was the smack heard
Okay,
around
but
the world.
Jimmy is like, I am so not interested in Jimmy Uso.
He's the Owen
No,
Hart for the
that's
Bret.
disrespectful to Owen Hart. It's not even.
Marty Jannetty to Shawn Michaels.
Yes, it's
There you go.
great,
Yeah.
great analogy, Alex. Spot on. I mean, it looks like he doesn't even care. He's like overweight. Like seriously, he's overweight. I'm overweight, but he's overweight.
Oh, God.
I'm allowed to say it. At least I'm jabbing myself in the stomach with something.
Hey, we can't fat
I
shame on
mean-
the King's Court, man. Come on.
I'm.
Hey,
But if you're a professional wrestler,
he's just coming off of injury.
he's enjoying himself too much catering. That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
That's aggressive, Rhino. Very
as long
aggressive.
as he's getting those-
I'm.
as long as he's getting those booty bumps.
Well,
every
he's
night,
on.
all
He's
right.
getting closer to Rikishi than he is Jay. That's all I know.
Well,
The
he
dude
should
that-
be.
Hey, if you got to wrestle with a shirt on, there's a reason for it.
Okay, all right, okay. Look, I get a lot of flack. I won't go into it really deep, but this is why I could never get behind Kevin Owens. I always thought, hey, if you're gonna be a wrestler, I want you to be jacked and big. What I aspire to be. I don't want you to be this fat, lazy. Yeah. Okay. See, and again, I don't want to come off as disrespectful, but they were comparing at one point Kevin Owens to when he was in NXT to a Brock Lesnar. Oh, he's the prize fighter. I'm like, I don't buy it. He's fat and he's wears a t-shirt when he wrestles. That's just me.
Okay, that's fair, but that's
Yeah.
always been Kevin Owens, right?
Yeah.
This hasn't always been Jimmy Uso. Like it's different to a degree. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, Alex, and that's why everybody. I think that's what's so interesting about the wrestling industry because every fan looks at things differently, right?
Sure.
And so, anyways, all right, y'all. I love you. I got to kick you out. All right,
Hey,
love you, boys.
love
Have
you.
a great weekend.
Get the hell out of here. Enjoy your Friday night.
Yeah. And thank you for inspiring us to fat
not.
shame, Rhino. I appreciate it.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta call a spade a spade. Okay, no. Here's the deal. I am not one to fat shame. Okay, I'm overweight myself. However, no, listen. If you, I follow Jim Rome's rule. If you make a living with your body,
Yeah.
like a professional athlete, and you're letting yourself go, it's fair game. It is to me. There's no reason Jimmy Uso should be wearing shirts wrestling right now.
You haven't said anything about Luca this entire episode. We go after Jimmy Uso.
And we end there. Well done, Adam Uso. Alex, good job. That might have been Adam's best one-liner on the show ever. Unbelievable. Great work by the two of them. Ahmed Johnson. Oh my gosh, you're going deep. I don't remember the wrestler's name. He looked like Ahmed Johnson. It was like right around 2000, I don't know, 2009. It was at the same show. Oh, it was like Ezekiel something. He looked like Suge Knight. And anyways, the same show where after the show hung out with my buddy who works there and some of the wrestlers, his family was sitting next to me. And it was the first time that I realized how unhealthy some of the food was that they had backstage at catering. because I was not let into catering when I went backstage. But his daughter sat next to me and she opens her box of food, and it's curly fries, it's bacon, it's just, I think there was like fried chicken. And so I even like sent a tweet out to the wrestler about it. He responded to me. He was laughing about it. But oh my gosh, D'Lo Brown, we're going deep. Wow. If you want to keep going deep, we can go deep for a couple of more minutes. If you can keep coming up with deep pulls, I'll keep playing the game. Brooklyn Brawler. Anyone? Okay. Yokozuna. Fair enough. That's easy. How about some of D'Lo? Yeah, he had some attitude. He's a good wrestler. Let's see. What are 1, 2, 3 Kid? Obviously. Haystacks Calhoun. Anybody gonna top Haystacks Calhoun? I'll wait. I don't think you will. Waiting. Am I gonna win? Yeah. No. Oh, well, no. I think Haystacks Calhoun still holds up. Farouk. Damn. Yeah. We used to have that one. Johnny Polo. You know what's funny? It is a funny segment when we bring Haunted Horse on this show, and we'll do it in the off season. Rick Martel, the model. Yep. You know, the narcissist Lex Luger. I was at the Royal Rumble show here in Sacramento when he debuted, and he didn't wrestle, but like they did the whole debut thing with the mirrors and everything. It was the Royal Rumble that Yokozuna won. But I was a big Bret Hart kid. I loved Bret Hart for whatever reason. So I think he retained his title that WrestleMania. Yeah, Yokozuna beat him at the WrestleMania after that Royal Rumble. So anyways, all right, I win with Haystacks Calhoun.
Great success.
Great success. Anyways, all right. Fun show. We have talked about a lot. Catering at 1998 NBA All-Star Game was pretty good. Snuck in the back. Did you really, Patrick? You'll have to tell that story sometime. Very cool, man. That's awesome. Hey, it's believable. Did you see the guy that snuck into the NBA Finals a couple of years ago down in Golden State or down at the Chase Center? He was dressed as Klay Thompson, and he had done a makeover to look like Klay Thompson. He got in. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. What was it about Bret, Cody? Is it just like he was just a normal, like just really good at what he does guy around all these other big, different, sometimes weird personalities that had needles protruding from their heinies? Like, I don't know what the draw was to him. I think it was it. It was just the genuineness of Bret Hart. For sure. Yes, Haunted Horse used to sneak on to movie sets. I actually heard that Haunted Horse used to sneak into movie theaters
Let's go see
too.
a porno.
So, dude, how'd you get here? I don't know why the hated Bret wore pink. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, we'll wrap it up. Hey, don't forget, we are back tomorrow. By the way, but you got NCAA basketball tipping off here. Actually, is already tipped off. So enjoy your night of basketball. Scoreboard watching tonight for the Kings. Dallas played last night. Tonight, you've got the Cavs, Pistons, Clippers, Nets, Hornets, Raptors, Knicks, Bucks, Suns, Timberwolves. Keep an eye for that. Warriors, Pelicans, Jazz, and Nuggets. For NCAA, you've got Michigan State and Ole Miss just tipped off. Michigan State down 1 early in the first half. Kentucky, Tennessee tipping off in about 15 minutes. Michigan, Auburn, Purdue, Houston all tonight to settle the Elite Eight this weekend, beginning tomorrow. We will know the first part of the Final Four. Who was better, Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels? I always, it's a great question, Johnny. It's a great question. I've got to dig deep, like back into my memories and back at that time. Like there's certain like different, what I called like standards, or I guess like different points along like the timeline of me watching wrestling. I guess like the landmarks, like the Ultimate Warrior getting put in the casket by the Undertaker. We talked about the Papa Shango thing. Marty Jannetty getting thrown through the glass by Shawn Michaels. Jake Roberts, the Cobra, biting Macho Man, stuff like that. So I've got to go through those thoughts and kind of sift it out. Johnny is like our resident analytic and scout here on the King's Court. He knows his stuff. But Kings in Orlando tomorrow will be on the air 1:15 for you with the pregame show, halftime with Jerry Reynolds, and postgame taking your calls. And I personally am more of an AJ Styles guy. That's just me. And by the way, Haunted Horse, do not point Headstrom Bacon to this show. It's too sound drop rich. Just don't do it. And I know you will. Anyways, we are back tomorrow with full coverage of the Kings and the Magic. Don't forget, Jake LaRavia out 7 to 10 days. Kings kick off their East Coast road trip, their sprint to the finish, 6-game East Coast trip. Ooh, my voice gave out. 6-game East Coast trip, and wrap it back up at home for 3. So, all right, appreciate y'all. Make it a great weekend, fun show. Do us a favor, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We would greatly appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. We are working on some of the suggestions that you've sent us. If you have suggestions about the show, hit me up, rhinoandsacktown@gmail.com. Also, you can hit me up at my X account at Ryan_in_Sacktown. We're going to work on timelining the show. So you can go, as you scroll through, see what we are talking about. Tristan brought that up, and it's actually a very good idea. So little things like that, always improving the channel. We'll be back, as I said, tomorrow. Kings basketball, beginning with the pregame show, 1:15 for you. Have a safe and great Friday. Thank you so much for making it through the week and spending the last couple hours of your afternoon here on the King's Court on If You Don't Like That. Fun place on Fridays to be. A lot of fun, different show. Everybody is welcome to come in, and still shocked by this.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not.
Taylor Jenkins. The Memphis Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins. Reportedly lost the locker room. Reportedly because them hosting a home playoff series was in jeopardy. Kings fans, you're not getting Taylor Jenkins. I'm sorry. There's going to be better opportunities for Taylor. And I would love to have Taylor Jenkins. Don't get me wrong. I think that would be a very good fit, as many other teams probably do. Coach Christie, break us down.
That's big time shit. Together on 3, y'all. 1, 2, 3.
Together. All right, we out. Go Kings. Light the beam. Court is dismissed.